Hello everyone, welcome to Inconvenient Truths. I'm your host, Jennifer Zeng. Today I will talk about 4 topics. A reporter from the Epoch Times attacked in Hong Kong. They finally released census data of China. A little bit of an update on Tesla's situation in China and how the CCP's investment in the Mekong River is affecting those Southeast countries, Asian countries. So please make sure you stick around till the end. Before we go on, please make sure you subscribe to my channel and share my videos if you haven't, and turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss new shows. First of all, let me do a quick update of an Epoch Times reporter in Hong Kong being attacked and how the situation of Hong Kong is getting worse and worse. Remember, I did a program about Hong Kong's richest man Li Kai-chi being marginalized for not actively supporting the CCP a while ago? In that show, I talked about the printing factory of the Epoch Times newspaper being broken into, and printing machines and computers being smashed, and Sarah Liang, a reporter from the Epoch Times, as well as a good friend of mine, being followed. This man even went to her apartment to confirm her address and to harass her on April 24th. Well, today, at noon local time, she got physically attacked in front of her apartment building and had to be rushed to the hospital in an ambulance. Let's show a few pictures of the bruises on her legs. Basically, as she was standing outside her apartment, a large man in his 40s suddenly got out of a car and beat her up with a bat for about 1 minute and more than 10 times, and then jumped into his car and drove away. A witness saw that his car was a black Mercedes-Benz and the license plate number is TV 3851. After Sarah finished her injury check in Queen's Elizabeth Hospital, she held a press conference outside. She told the press that last Saturday, on May 8th, while she was standing at the same location, a man suddenly ran to her, and while he was running, a black band dropped out of his clothes. He was wearing a long-sleeve black jacket, although it was very hot, obviously to hide his band. He was a little bit surprised and at loss as to what to do as his hidden band fell to the ground unexpectedly. He hesitated for a bit and then walked away. Sarah felt that he looked very strange and took this photo we just saw while he walked away. Guo Jun, director of the Hong Kong edition of the Epoch Times, said there was no doubt that the CCP was behind the assault on Sarah Liang. Guo called on the international community to pay attention to the safety of all reporters working in Hong Kong. Guo Jun said the CCP's goal with this attack, as well as the others, was to force the Epoch Times to abandon its business in Hong Kong. The safety of the staff at the outlet's printing plant has been another concern. There have been unidentified vehicles and people spotted near the facility recently. The Chinese edition of the Epoch Times called on the Hong Kong police to carry out their duty to investigate all unresolved cases involving the Hong Kong Bureau. The outlet just issued a statement saying, "We call on the general public in Hong Kong to continue to support the Epoch Times. The Epoch Times will not back down, and it will continue to provide truthful coverage and safeguard Hong Kong." It also called on the international community to help prevent the CCP's escalating violence against Hong Kong media. The Hong Kong Journalists Association quickly posted a statement on its Facebook page today, condemned the violence against Sarah Liang and solemnly urged the police to quickly bring the attacker to justice. The statement says, freedom of the press is a core value that makes Hong Kong a success. We will never tolerate any violent threats against the media or journalists. So please make sure that you share this video as widely as you can to show your support for freedom of speech in Hong Kong. Like I said before, the Epoch Times is one of the only few independent media outlets in Hong Kong that are still reporting from the front line of the battlefield against the CCP. If people like my friend Sarah Liang are brave enough to stay in Hong Kong to do this most difficult job, we at least can do a little bit of our own in a far less tough environment. So please do share this video to show your support. Now, let's move on to our next topic, China's much anticipated census results. After a lot of delay, the CCP finally published its census results today. It says that China's total population is 1.41178 billion. That is a 5.84% increase compared with the 1.34 billion in the 2010 census. However, the results also show that China's population growth in the decade to 2020 slumped to the least in official records dating back to 1950s. That is, an annual growth rate of only 0.53%. Yi Fuxian, a well-known demography and author of the book Big Country with an Empty Nest, has sent a number of tweets since the results were released. He insisted that China's real population is unlikely to exceed 1.28 billion and said that the census data has been revised. He also created some PowerPoint files to illustrate how corrupt every aspect of the census is and why the CCP's official results cannot be trusted. Given the history of the nature of the CCP, which is lying all the time, I tend to believe in Yi Fuxian's analysis instead of the CCP's official numbers. How about you? Now, a little bit update on Tesla in China. According to Reuters, Tesla has halted plans to buy land to expand its Shanghai plant and make it a global export hub. If you have watched my last show on Tesla, I think you will not feel surprised. The CCP has created a lot of trouble for Tesla recently because it wants to have Tesla's technology, market, and data. Tesla definitely isn't feeling happy about these unpleasant experiences. I forgot to mention some important information in my last show regarding the woman who jumped on top of a Tesla car to protest in Shanghai's International Auto Show. And the important information is this. Although she claimed that her family encountered an accident because the Tesla brake failed, the local police actually had issued a liability report right after the accident, which says that her father should be 100% responsible for that accident, as he was speeding before he crashed into the cars in front of him at a traffic light. So why has the CCP supported that woman? Please go back to watch my last video about Tesla if you haven't. Now, let's move to our last topic today, the CCP's investment in the Mekong River. Recently, after Xi Jinping made an important speech at the recent US-led virtual climate summit, Xinhua published an article and interpreted his speech as the guideline to build a human community with a shared future. The article boasted about the 7 hydropower stations on the Nam O River in Laos built by the CCP as a perfect example. However, an expert said those projects are Faustian bargains, which means people are trading their souls with the devil and will eventually hurt themselves. Now let's check how and why these projects are Faustian bargains. Nam O River in Laos is one of the 12 principal tributaries of the Mekong River, the largest river in Southeast Asia. Mekong originates in China and spans 6 countries in Southeast China. Over the past 5 years, the CCP's One Belt, One Road program, or Belt and Road Initiative, has targeted the Mekong River basin and invested in a number of major infrastructure projects, including hydropower stations. While the CCP's investment in these hydropower projects has brought external funding to local government, it has also posed a direct threat to the livelihood of the people of the Mekong River basin. Why? The Mekong River is known as a natural fishery. It is famous for its rich diversity of fish, with 1,148 species of fish, ranking 3rd in the world in fish diversity after the Amazon and the Congo River basins. The lower Mekong Basin has the largest inland capture fishery in the world, with a total annual catch of 2.3 million tons of fish, valued at $11 billion, providing up to 80% of the animal protein needed by the people of the Mekong River basin on a daily basis. The Mekong River is also home to many economically valuable fish, including the world's largest freshwater fish, the stingray. 4 of the world's top 10 freshwater fish live in the Mekong River. Yet, fisheries in the Mekong River basin are now facing the threat of dams. According to Nature magazine, an estimated 60% of the catch in the lower Mekong Basin is made up of migratory fish that need to cross the river unimpeded to spawn in suitable areas. The construction of dams will impede the migration of these fish and put many of them at risk of extinction. The Worldwide Fund for Nature published a study in May last year called Rivers of Giants, Giant Fish of the Mekong. The study says that dams on the Mekong's mainstream and tributary are the greatest and most pressing threat to the Mekong's giant fish because they disrupt the migratory routes of the fish. Expert hydrologist Wang Weiluo said in an interview with the Epoch Times that the dams block the downward flow of sediment, which contains nutrients for the fish. The water flowing from the reservoir is also several degrees cooler than normal river water, which can also disrupt fish reproduction. Actually, the Mekong River has already seen a 76% decline in freshwater fish and a 94% decline in the number of giant fish since 1970. According to the Mekong River Commission, the loss of fish due to dams is estimated to be nearly $23 billion by 2040. In addition to fisheries, the loss of forests, wetlands, and mangroves could be as high as $145 billion. The dams will also reduce sedimentation and limit rice growth along the Mekong River. Wang Weiluo said that the dams in China's Yangtze River basin have left the Yangtze fishery in dire straits, and because of that, the CCP has imposed a 10-year ban on fishing in key areas of the Yangtze River basin. If Mekong becomes another Yangtze, how will the tens of millions of fishermen in the Mekong River basin survive? Over the past 10 years, hydropower development in the Mekong River basin has been expanding. On the mainstream, there are 11 projects in operation or under planning, including 7 hydropower stations in Laos, 2 in Cambodia, and 2 on the Lao-Thai border. The construction of hydropower stations in the Mekong River basin is one of the key initiatives of the CCP's One Belt, One Road efforts in Southeast Asia. In Laos, the CCP has already built the 100,000 kilowatt Nam Lek 122 hydropower station, the 120,000 kilowatt Nam Gyam 5 hydropower station, and the Nan O River hydropower station under the so-called Build, Operate, Transfer BOT model. What does the BOT model mean? It means the CCP builds and operates these projects first before transferring them to local governments. Using the BOT model, the CCP would sign a 20-year or longer concession agreement with a local government after investing in the construction of these hydropower stations. In Cambodia, the CCP has also invested in Kararom 1 and 3 hydropower station projects, Kam Cha Station, Tan Te hydropower station, Sang Ate hydroelectric power project, Lower Stang Rasang Kruram station, and Lower Sensang 2 power station, all under the BOT model. Take the Sino-Lao Cooperation Project Nam 5 hydropower station as an example. The Chinese side holds 85% of the project's equity and will have a 25-year concession period after the project is officially put into commercial operation. Wang Weiluo said the operation of these hydropower stations directly affects all aspects of the local energy supply and river channel management. Xi Jinping once said that the Three Gorges project is a national important weapon, and a major national important weapon must be in our own hands. Wang Weiluo said by the same token, the projects on the Mekong River are also major national important weapons, as these projects have the same ability to impact these countries' rise or decline. However, those countries have handed their national important weapons to the CCP. Wang Weiluo said the CCP's promotion of the One Belt, One Road program in the Mekong River reveals its ambition to control not only China's major national important weapons, but also those of the Mekong River countries in order to control Southeast Asia. Well, that's all for today's Inconvenient Truth. Once again, please do share my video today to raise awareness of all these important issues, especially about Hong Kong's worsening situation. I do hope the world can stop the CCP before it completely destroys Hong Kong and the world for that matter. Thank you. See you soon.